Hi guys, quick video here. It's a bit of a different one again for me, so it's a bit of a how to start airsoft, but this time around it's my experience taking a under 18 to airsoft for the first time and what I look for when I was booking him in. So if you're like a dad taking his son, or dad or a mum taking their son to airsoft for the first time, or you're an older brother taking your younger brother, in this case I'm an uncle taking my nephew. What I was looking for. So realistically speaking, taking something to airsoft the first time, I had a look at three things. I had a look at what the rental gear is like at a place, what the gameplay is like, and what the atmosphere is like. So I wanted a game site that was friendly and had lovely people there. I wanted a game site that had good rental equipment, so there wasn't a bitter taste left in the mouth at the end of the day if all they were using was the world's most rubbish AEG. And a third thing is gameplay. So I wanted medium kind of levels to everything. I didn't want really high-end rental equipment because I find that we want something in the mid-ground. You don't want a high-end AEG, or there's now even places offering HPA equipment for rentals, which I think is massively overkill. And also, if you've got a young person entering the industry or entering the hobby, you don't want to give them £1,000, 700, even £500 worth of kit to play with for the first time, because they're never going to achieve that realistically as a young person within the first year of playing, because it's a lot of money to spend. So, £200-300 worth of kit as a rental, a good £200 plus AEG, 50 quid face mask, 50 quid if you bring a plate carrier or just the body armor sets, that's all they need. Simple as that. Oh, and a pair of gloves too. So, that was another thing I looked at in the gameplay, obviously making sure the gameplay was right too. So first things first, I chose Battle Stations. I was originally going with another game site, unfortunately now closing. Mad Dog in Huntingdon was where I started. I went to take my nephew there. They're now closing down, unfortunately. I think other airsoft sites popping up in Huntingdon are taking away the popularity for the older game sites. They're now going. So I've gone with my standard place that I go to, which is Battle Stations Airsoft in Snetterton. And that's because I think they had all three. So for me, Battle Stations has a wonderful community of people. Everybody there is approachable. I've not found somebody there that I bumped into that was not friendly or lovely. And all the marshals are wonderful too and can take a laugh as well as give one. Second thing was rental equipment. They have kind of mid-spec AEGs, all with MOSFETs in them, all with, like, some of them even come with things like pre-cocking and stuff like that, which means that they're firing as fast as everybody else on the game site. They provide body armor, they provide face coverings. They do use mesh face pro, so I'm going to take my own face pro on the day just in case. Because he's underneath the age of 18, you do need to remember that if they're underneath the age of 18, they must have full face coverage. If it's over age of 18, obviously you can choose just wear the eye pro. You don't have to have the lower face. Somewhere like BSA, if you're not wearing lower face, you're losing teeth anyway. So just keep that in mind. They have to wear full face mask covering. A bonus with the face mask coverings they use at BSA, they're quite face friendly. They cover the whole head and even the top of the head too, which means that even though they're a mesh mask, they're pretty good mesh masks. They cover the whole head so well that I think that might be the best option for my nephew, who probably doesn't want some goggles on for the whole day pushing against his face, which they've been worn by hundreds of other people, so it's going to be greasy and horrible and smelly. So that's pretty good. BSA do all of that stuff. And then the gameplay, I personally think, number one, with Airsoft, dumping a child straight into CQB is a good idea. Number one, it's fast-paced. If you die, you respawn, all of that jazz. I think the main issue why paintball has fallen off in recent years is because, unfortunately, you do run into the issue of you get shot in paintball, you sit out, and that's the end of your game. And if you're doing 6 games a day, you get killed 6 times in 30 seconds. You've maybe spent 50 quid on all of about 2.5 minutes worth of gameplay. And I think that's an issue that with paintball, and an issue with long distance airsoft with woodland sites, and potentially even limited respawns on woodland sites too. So I do think that it's a better option to do CQB. But I also think there is an issue with the whole pain side of things too. I think you can go too close CQB, so I wouldn't want to use Blackstone in Huntingdon where the CQB is too close. I want to use mid-range CQB where it's a little bit further away. Yes, there's no minimum engagement distance at either site, but at Blackstone, even if you're wearing thick clothing, you're going home with holes in you. That's probably one of the most bloodied sites I've ever seen. It's a really harsh site to play on. Battle Stations, yes, they're getting a bit more tight now in certain areas of the maps and battle stations as they're moving the maps around, but I still think it's a more comfortable day out, but you're still receiving painful shots. And I personally think if you're going to try Airsoft, you don't want to play 7 games and not get shot harsh once, and then you ruin your entire month on the 6th game or whatever. You just need to get out there. I work with animals for a living. I can tell you the one way to not be afraid of something like a snake is get bitten by one, because they don't hurt. But the issue with Airsoft is it does hurt sometimes, and you need to know what that feels like and know that you're prepared for it. Better way of doing things. So those are the things I look for. The other things I looked into was, kind of how they look after young players and stuff like that. I would recommend, if you are going to take a young person to Airsoft and you're a parent, then make sure you stay with the youngsters throughout the day too, or participate. I think there's also another big issue with young people starting Airsoft is that they go into it, mum and dad stay in the safe zone while the kids are going out playing, and I do find that can be quite a challenging thing for youngsters. The team that I play with will take youngsters in and help them progress in the game field. The only issue is for us, we want to have a good day, so we can't always give them our entire attention, because if we're having to spend our whole day looking after the youngsters, we can't do our day. So I think that's another part of it too. But hopefully this has been useful. Like I said, main things to look out for is the type of gameplay you want. If you're only ever going to do field sites and you don't mind it being longer engagement distance and it's a lot less painful, obviously woodland is the way to go. If not, find a mid-range CQB. Mid to close range CQB. Second thing, look at rental equipment. Make sure it's not too high end, but also make sure it's not low end as well, so you can go in and enjoy the game. But if there is an expectation for this youngster to get equipment and they want to start the hobby as a whole, obviously starting a mid-range is good, because most likely you'll be buying in the mid-range. Don't buy cheap Airsoft stuff, always buy in the mid-range, and if you're really into it and you've got the money, then obviously you can go from there. And last of all, making sure that game site's great for a youngster to join. BSA has got a few characters there that will use choice language, but I think if you're taking a youngster into an environment where you have adults playing a hobby, in my opinion, I don't personally run around the game site just using expletives all the time or shouting at people or stuff like that. But remember, it is a hobby that by the majority is played by over 18s, so obviously you probably are going to find choice language at every game site in the country. So just be prepared for that. If you're an adult that somebody starts kind of shouting out F's and S's or stuff like that, you need to be prepared for that, because unfortunately that comes with the territory. You'll tend to find it's never aimed at anyone, so you could argue that it's not like when people use it in its more traditional sense, where they're using it as an insult or an expletive, more just kind of somebody walks around the corner and gets shot in the crotch and shouts fuck as loudly as they possibly can. That's going to happen. No two ways about it. In fact, actually, if you hear the word fuck, you're probably quite lucky. So I'll let you know how I get on, because I'm going to add another, as we go to this how to start Airsoft series. Obviously this is me before taking my nephew out, what I've looked into for taking my nephew out, and then the next episode will be in a couple of weeks time, maybe next month or something. I'll cover how it was and my thoughts of future in a part 2. Anyways, hopefully this has been useful for you. If you've got any questions, pop them down in the comments section. If you're an adult looking to take your kid to Airsoft, pop it in the comments section. I'd be happy to help you any way I possibly can. This will be going up the week before I go, so it'll be next Sunday I'll be going. So if you want more information but you don't want to wait until the video in November, then you can message me. Probably not next, probably the next Monday after this one coming, and I'll be able to help you out. Otherwise, hope you have a good one. Catch you next one.